We just get so good at what we do, but it doesn't light us up.
A big problem at the company that you see that you have this idea or solution for, and even if you don't, just say, I want to be a part of this because I know it needs to be better.
And I love that you ended up leading it with joy.
Yeah, so now I work with, as a coach and a trainer, individuals. I work with individuals to find their essence. And the joy is in the process of the doing. The joy is in tapping into your strengths.
So many people, I think, get paralyzed in that place. Is there some sort of advice or something you have?
It's just go for it, right? It's Nike's slogan. You know, it's
just do it, yeah.
Just do it. And so at age 40, I taught myself how to play the piano, and I still play.
What is your hope, like your big vision with Leading with Joy?
My big vision would be for
Today's show is brought to you by Brave Healer Productions. Experience what's possible. Coming up on today's show, you are literally meeting joy face to face. My guest today is Joy Meserve, and she's showing us how we can tap into our unique zone of genius and thrive in all areas of our lives. And a little later, I sit down for an inspiring chat with the president of Gary V's V Friends. And we are literally bouncing off the walls on today's Joy Report. It's a fun-filled episode, so strap on in. It's time for Good Morning Joy. Hold on tight, everyone. I am getting reports of a major quake. A dance quake! If you are in need of a little extra energy or just want to shake off those nerves, now's the time to give a little shimmy, shake, or twist. Let's get those good vibes flowing and dance our way through the day. It's gonna be a great one out there and in here. Remember, no matter the weather outside, it's always sunny here in our hearts at Joy News. Keep shining. Over to you, Shari. Joining me right now is Joy Meserve, founder of Leading with Joy, a revolutionary management and leadership training company that helps both people and profits thrive. I'm so excited to welcome you, Joy, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shari.
Absolutely. And I have to say, most people will think this is your show because everybody thinks my name is Joy. So now I'm like, I finally have a Joy on the show.
Well, when I found you, I thought maybe it was serendipitous.
Yes, perfect. Exactly. And that's why we're here, because we are going to talk about joy, specifically in the workplace, but also for those who maybe aren't in the workplace or don't really care, really about how we can find the best part of ourselves, what you call our zone of genius. So we're going to dive into that a little bit today. But before that, what I found so interesting about you is the fact that you started a company, you're one of the founders, and then you ended up building it to such a successful company that it sold for over $200 million.
That's right.
But you didn't just do that, you did it with joy. Can you share a little bit about that journey, like what led you to that place? Because I know I've said with you that you had 23 jobs before you were 23 years old. So I just want anyone that's listening right now to understand that you may not know where you're going, but you can end up like you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, my very first job was when I was 8 years old, working with my dad at the Sunday LA Times. I would stuff the ad section into the LA Times and he would bundle it for delivery. Yeah, my first W-2 was age 12 and then I went from there. But it was really landing in my dream job at 23 years old that changed my life. And what I found there was, fulfillment and joy through the work that I was doing. I was given autonomy, ownership over opportunities, and those things really fed me. And I found myself, climbing my way up to the COO role, and I was meaningfully contributing to something that mattered. And that is what we're all looking for. We're all looking for ways to fulfill our own potentialities, and that's how I found mine. And so I stayed there for 23 years.
Wow,
and
23 is your number here.
Yes, I know, right? And people are like, why? Why did you stay there 23 years? Well, it was that fulfillment and joy that I was getting. But it was also the connective tissue with the people. So I was able to find and pull people in who had the same values. We had a shared purpose. And what I found is that we were all in service to one another as much as we were in service to the mission of the company. And that's a beautiful thing, and it's really rare. And we created an award-winning culture together. We had 20 years of continuous revenue growth. All these wonderful things came out of that community. And so now I'm on a mission to help other people find fulfillment and joy through work and other ways in our lives, and also to help leaders figure out, how do you create that environment that creates an innovative and successful company? And it's really the secret for any business leaders out there listening, is that when your people are thriving and they're engaged and they love what they do, your bottom line, your profits, your business thrives as well.
You said so much in there that I want to touch on. No, like powerful stuff, because I'm going to bounce right off of what you just said, though. I remember many years ago, I was waiting tables.
Yes.
Actually, right here where this studio is, shockingly. And I remember having a manager that was so invested in who we were as people and really got to know us. And so all of us showed up for her and for the restaurant so much like stronger. We cared about things on our shift, and it always just sat with me. And that's what I think about when you were just talking, is that interest in people, having people feeling valued and seen and heard.
Yes.
And it's such powerful work that you're doing. But you also said about all of us have this innate desire to fulfill our potential.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a person probably watching this right now that doesn't feel that. Where did you discover that?
Yeah, well, it's not my quote. Rolla May, he's an American psychologist and author, and he wrote this book called Man's Search for Himself. It's a little dated, but it's still used today. And one of his quotes is that every organism has one and only one central need in life, and that's to fulfill our own potentialities. And it's in that process, right? In the process of fulfilling that, where we are going after our dreams and our hopes and really staying true to ourselves, that we find contentment, that we find joy, and we find fulfillment.
I called Leading with Joy revolutionary. I'm just going to say, as a woman, first of all, like coming through as a leader, that you need to somehow maybe be more forceful or harsh, and I love that you ended up leading it with joy.
Yeah.
And so how are you doing that now with people?
Yeah, so now I work with, as a coach and a trainer, individuals. I work with individuals to find their essence. That's a term we use in the coaching world. And basically what that means is, what is the common thread throughout your life where you were existing in your truest form? And it's often evident at a really early age, and then it continues. It's this thread that keeps coming back. It might be in your dreams, it might be in your goals. It's that part of you that wants to be of service. And so when we find that essence, then the trick is finding work that aligns with that essence, and where we can really tap into our zone of genius.
I love that term, zone of genius, because do you believe that we all have one?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think stops people from recognizing that genius part of themselves?
Good question. So we can get stuck really in our zone of excellence, which is close but not the same. So the zone of genius is something you're really good at, but you're also passionate. It kind of fits with, it takes the form of your essence. The zone of genius is where you feel like you're not watching the clock, you're in flow, you're alive, and you really feel like, again, that truest part of yourself is being expressed. But the zone of excellence, you might be really good at it, and it comes naturally to you, but it still feels like work. And the zone of excellence is often a place where we get stuck. We get stuck in the part of where we're just comfy. We're in our comfort zone, and it really takes kind of, as you put it, like looking out that window and really climbing outside, right? And stretching ourselves a little bit and saying, you know what? I actually want to work with my essence in my zone of genius.
As you said, stretching yourself. Like I actually felt constriction in there because I felt a viewer right now that's like risk,
Right.
and so many people I think get paralyzed in that place. Is there some sort of advice or something you have for those people that maybe are staying comfy?
Yeah, I do. I have advice. And it's taken me some time to get here as well, which is it's start before you're ready. It's just go for it, right? It's Nike's slogan. It's
Just do it, yeah.
Just do it. And what you'll find is that when you're really doing things that you're interested in, it will take shape and you'll probably exceed your own expectations in that process.
I will say that this show started because I started before I was ready. I was talking about it, announcing it, even before it was physically created. And I find that starting before you're ready always gives me some sort of accountability in some way. Like I feel like if I talk about it publicly,
Yes.
whatever it is, and I've done that for years, that then I show up for that. So is that kind of what you're
Exactly
about?
that. Yeah.
And I love this differentiating between the zone of genius and zone of excellence, because I think you're right. Like we just get so good at what we do, but it doesn't light us up. So what do we do? What do we do for those, you say start before you're ready.
Yeah.
Anything else that somebody can do
Yeah.
once they...
So let's say you're working somewhere. Ask how you can help, right? Volunteer to support something. What is it you're interested in? Is there a big problem at the company that you see that you have this idea or solution for? And even if you don't, just say, I want to be a part of this because I know it needs to be better. And once you get in there, you'll dig in there, and all of the wonderful things that are unique to you and your voice are gonna propel that forward, because it takes so many ideas from different areas to really make beautiful things work.
And I love that. And I think when you step up and you show up for the things that you're interested in, and then leaders see you doing that, it's like this beautiful relationship where both the leader is so happy and excited because the person is showing up and, taking initiative, and then the team feels that they're being seen and recognized.
When you can find opportunities that you're interested in to really truly own, that's where you're gonna find ownership in the trajectory of the organization or the thing that you're doing itself, right? And the joy is in the process of the doing. The joy is in tapping into your strengths and seeing them come to life in new ways.
Well, joy, I've always defined joy as this perfect alignment with yourself and who you really are, including you in their head, Joy. So what is your hope, like your big vision with Leading with Joy?
My big vision would be for everyone to feel a lot more joy and fulfillment from work. Only 18% of people are really satisfied with what they're working on. And I'm hoping to change that equation and make that a larger percentage of the population. And if everybody was happy with what they were doing every day, think about the trickle-on effects to people's families and their relationships with one another. So I think we can really create more space for people to be happy in other ways as well.
I love that, because it doesn't only apply, obviously, to the business world. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking about personal lives too. We're talking about showing up and do the things that light you up and that you feel most aligned with in life. Do you think that there's this way that people can do both? Because I can also hear people in my head saying right now, I love doing this, but it's not very secure. Like there's not a lot of financial security in there. Like, so I'm going to stay in this place. Like, is there a perfect melding of the two?
Yeah, work doesn't have to be the thing that you love. You can keep that outside of work, but absolutely there are places, and your essence shows up in different forms throughout your life. So that's what you'll notice when you truly tap into your essence. Mine is an educator. And so it makes sense because my grandma was an educator, my mom, my aunt, my uncle, my nieces, my sister, so it's really throughout, but it can show up in different ways. You could be a teacher, you could be a preacher, you could be a performer, you could be a coach, you could be a trainer. All these different things are forms of your essence. And so it doesn't have to just be one road, one path. There are so many ways for your essence to show up in this world.
And just right on that, talking again about waiting tables, people always used to ask me, how are you so joyful? Like, what is, And because I made that job was never about the serving the steak and the fries, it was always about the interactions with people and how can I inspire them or motivate them every time I walked up to the table. So it was this way for me to bring parts of me while I'm serving you a steak sandwich. Yeah.
Gosh, I just got chills, Shari. So yeah, absolutely. It's so true. You can bring your essence everywhere you go.
Your family life. You have 2 teens, you have an artist husband, right? Like, I want to say that would bring you joy, but just the thought of children does not light me up inside. Talk to me a little bit about the ways that you bring joy in your life these days.
Yeah. So, raising kids, it's an adventure. It is not for everybody, and it is it's a constant roller coaster, right? Some days are just wonderful, and you see them blooming and blossoming in their place, and then the other days you're like, oh my gosh, they're upset, and then you feel upset. So it's a balance, and then you go coach and try to coax them, despite your own feeling upset for them. But one of my things that I do just to bring joy to myself at home, it's a hobby, is I play the piano. And it's funny, but
you learned that late in life?
Late in life. My mom,
not that we're 90, but like, when you're a little late.
Yes. My mom was staying at my house for the weekend one time, and it was 7 a.m. in the morning, which is early for me. But I wake up to hearing her play the Moonlight Sonata. And I was like, oh my gosh, all these childhood memories came rushing back. And I was like, I need to play the Moonlight Sonata. I'm called to do it. So I was like, Mom, can you help me? Learned it when I was 6 years old. So that's it. I was like, I gotta come from that age of education to being able to play the Moonlight Sonata. Anyway, she helped me. And so at age 40, I taught myself how to play the piano, and I still play, very often, every other day probably. And my favorite are like 70s and 80s. Slow tunes, the hits.
I love that. I love that you are the walking and talking example of literally just starting and going for it and following that calling and, finding that zone of genius within. You're obviously really creative. And when we come back from commercial, I'm going to take that creative part of you and we are going to have some fun.
Okay, sounds good. All right, you're scaring me a little, but
don't be scared. Just
okay.
Get your theater world on. Stay right here. What's more fun than furniture made from tennis balls? Artist Mathilde Wittock is turning these bright, bouncy spears, normally destined for 400 years in a landfill, into playful, stylish furniture. Spotting potential in what others throw away, Wittock collects used tennis balls and transforms them into colorful chairs, stools, and even sofas. Her creations aren't just cute and quirky, they're a fresh take on upcycling, proving that everyday waste can become something fabulous. With each piece, Wittock is inspiring a whole new way of thinking about sustainability, making it fun, funky, and eco-friendly. And now it's time to go talk to some peeps on the street on today's.
I am here with Andy Krainak, and on Good Morning Joy. First of all, it is such a joy to meet you in person. I've read so much about you, this event, of course, so thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
I think what I'm most inspired about all of this is just the realness, the authenticity, the encouragement for all of us to step up and to be who we are and to just put it all out there.
100%. That's what it's all about. And I think Gary, he resonates so well with so many people because he's authentic, and that's what people resonate with.
What is your hope with VeeFriends? Like, where do you see this in 5 years?
My hope with VeeFriends is that we continue to grow our fans and we can continue to have people fall in love with our characters. With over 250 characters, everyone has a personal favorite, whether it's because they like the animal or they really identify with the trait, empathy, patience, and we're just excited to continue to storytell with the characters. We have a YouTube animated kid show coming out, and my hopes and dreams are, just continue to develop the characters and make the world fall in love with them.
What character do you relate to the most?
The honest answer is that it changes. It changes on my mood and temperature and what's happening in the world, and the one that I'm really thinking about and meditating on. The one that I have the most personal connection with is actually Forever Phoenix. It was an NFT that Gary gifted me once we launched Be Friends, and the message behind it is to always be able to rise from a setback, no matter what.
And I feel like you just said that all of the characters, there is a part of all of that within each of us.
100%, and we'll see more of this actually in the YouTube show we're releasing. But it's about balancing all of them. Every trait in Be Friends character is almost like an ingredient, and the real recipe is a little bit about everything. And I think Gary's magic, and with your niece, you want to have both confidence and humility, and that's how you have the perfect recipe.
What are the two characteristics that are most ignited in you in this moment in time, sitting here with me right now? I'm getting us fully present.
One, I would say confidence, and confident, to lead and grow Be Friends, I have to be confident in the direction and the vision and what we're executing. And then the second one, I'll go with creative crab. We'll need to be creative. Hosting an event like this, you have to have creative solutions, and you need creativity for storytelling.
What's been the most surprising thing for you as you look out, you just sit here and you look out at everything that's happening, and even just working with Gary, any of it? What's...
It's not a surprise, but I'm always just taken aback and extremely humbled by the praise that Gary gets, that I get. The Be Friends community, in my humble opinion, is the most amazing community in the world, because we're rooted in kindness, and it's not something that happens overnight. Gary's been building this community for a long, long time, and we all share similar values, and that's just amazing. And then aside from that, I think people don't recognize how much Gary listens. He's a speaker, he's always talking, he's moving quickly, but his success is rooted in his ability to listen and take consumer feedback. And then he deploys that on his businesses and his characters and his vision for what he wants to achieve in his life.
It is such a beautiful thing that you created, and I know that the world needs more of it, which is why I do Good Morning Joy, is to share good news, good stories, good conversations, without throwing my tagline in there. But it is for this specific reason. And is that something that you always innately saw in people? Is the goodness in people, would you say? Or is that something that's kind of developed as you've worked with Gary?
It's good. Me personally, I think I've always seen the good in people. And I think Gary has doubled that quality in me. Gary really, really always sees the good in people. I've seen it as a leader. He identifies it, and he wants people to lean into their strengths. And just on your mission with this media show, I think it's beautiful. I think a lot of people take to online platforms to share negativity, and people think that's a reflection of where we are as a society, and I think we actually have a responsibility to share our positive thoughts even more so.
What is something that secretly brings you joy that not a lot of people know about, but you're going to share it with everybody now?
I have a morning breathing routine, I would say, and that brings me joy.
And what do you, if you had a message for the world, the whole world is listening right now, and it's 30 seconds or whatever you want it to be, what is it that you want people to hear and to know?
To never say no for yourself. I think everyone can convince themselves out of trying to achieve their dreams for themselves, and I would say to just push forward, and that it's possible, and then if you believe in it, it can happen.
Awesome. It's so awesome.
So we are back, and Joy told me that she liked Shakespeare. You told me previously that you are a Shakespeare fan. And so I thought that I would test your knowledge of Shakespeare, and I'm going to read lines from some of Shakespeare's plays, and I want you to guess what play it is from.
Okay.
We're going to put a timer on, but by the way, if you get it wrong, I'm the one that's going to be reading Shakespeare, so this is embarrassing for me.
Can we switch roles? Okay.
No, because then I would never get any right. So are you ready to play?
Okay, I'm
All
ready
right,
to
so
play.
we're going to put a timer on, And first clue is to be or not to be. That is the question.
Ah, that's easy. My son was in that play, Hamlet.
Okay. Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wretch. I tell thee what, get thee to church, O Thursday. Oh, never after look me in the face. It's very good Shakespeare on my end.
I don't know, King Lear?
I'll give you another clue. Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Oh, yes. Bite your thumb. Let's see. Drawing a blank.
Okay, I'll give you one last clue. Wherefore out thou?
Oh, and it's Romeo and Juliet. Thank you. Thank you. I
That's
appreciate
okay.
that. That was
Yeah.
great.
All right.
Well done.
Thank you. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should like till I were married. I don't know what country I'm from.
12th Night?
I'll do one more. We get 2 clues for everyone. Friendship is constant in all other things, save in the office and affairs of love.
Is it the one where they switch identities? I cannot remember.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
I don't even know. So if
Okay.
I'm a man or a woman as I'm reading these, so here we go. But I am a great eater of beef, and I believe that does harm to my wit. Here's another line from there. Better a witty fool than a foolish wit.
I don't know, but you sound fun.
Thank you. Thank you. It's probably a drama.
Let's see. Yeah, if it's a drama.
12th night. Oh, we're just going to keep going so I can get you as many as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer.
Othello?
Okay, I'll put the right ones on. Okay, here we go. I need glasses. Fie. Unknit that threat ring brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes to wound thy lord, thy king, thy governor.
Winter's Tale?
No, next. Thou shouldst not have been old till those hadst been wise. We'll try another one.
You know, they all
They all sound the same, I know.
They all
'cause-
sound like they could be in any Shakespeare play.
Yes, exactly, and they all sound the same
so
to me. How
yeah.
about here? As flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport.
Midsummer Night's Dream?
Well, we're just going to be done here because, by the way, I was a theater major,
Yeah.
and this is pathetic. And I studied Shakespeare. So, with that
Did
said-
you know these?
No.
Were you like, you should know these, Joy.
No,
Okay.
like I said, I don't even know if it's a man or a woman. Thank you for entertaining me. Thank you for having fun with
Well,
us.
you were very entertaining and you're
Thank you.
Shakespearean.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the world to help us all find our potentiality and show up being the best we can, both in the workplace and in our personal lives.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I can't wait to see you next time on Good Morning Joy, where every day starts with a smile.